Overwatch Season 10 just started, and I'm here to talk about it, okay? Because I got some problems, I'm not gonna lie. The game, I'm not a fan right now, and I'm gonna explain why. And we're gonna go over everything from this new season pretty much in this video, so I'll try and time code it so you can skip around. Feel free to skip around. First thing we're talking about, the Clash trial. Now, I'll be completely honest, I've only played 2 games of Clash. One was in the arcade mode where it was open queue. It was fine. It wasn't the best. I'd assume for some people that was probably insufferable though, because they haven't played open queue in years and they don't know how horrible it is right now. And then the only other time I got it was once. I got it once on rotation, and it was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I am a fan of 2CP though, just so you know, right off rip. I liked 2CP. I had fun playing it. Even as a Reinhardt main, I had a lot of fun playing it. So of course I'm probably gonna like the mode that kind of plays similarly. But that being said, I don't have too much to say about it, other than I do think it's fun. I like it a lot more than Push and fucking Flashpoint, I'll tell you what. Flashpoint's fine, but Push I hate. This I actually do like. But I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Hanaoka, I actually love that we're finally somewhat getting Hanamura back, because to be honest, that's like one of the most important maps in Overwatch history, and it's crazy it's been gone this long. I know that the Hanamura is like broken currently on the custom games and you can't play it, which that kind of sucks, but I'm sure they'll fix that. But I like Hanaoka. It looks nice, which is pretty much all I want. I just hope that they keep doing this, honestly. Before we keep adding new city maps, I want all of our 2CP maps back in some way or shape or form. Like, we need another space map again. And that's the first thing, okay? Not super interesting. Then we got the Mythic Hero skin updates, and this is where stuff starts to get interesting, okay? Mythic Hero skins are now unlocked in the Mythic Shop in exchange for Mythic Prisms. Mythic Hero skins are unlocked for 50 Prisms with a starting set of customization and can be leveled up with 10 Mythic Prisms per level. You can unlock the skin and all available customizations for a Mythic Hero skin at 80 Prisms. So I'm pretty sure... Here, you know what? Before I start talking out of my ass, let's literally just open it in-game so I don't start talking out of my ass. To be said, okay? First of all, this is just a good thing. Outright. It just is. There's no other way about it. They're doing a good thing by letting more people have the mythics and get mythics, like, have a choice in mythics. This has always been my problem. I fucking hated the Orisa mythic. I would have chosen literally any other mythic before that. But because I played that season more than I played, let's say, the Sigma season, now I don't have the Sigma skin, but I have this fucking god-awful Orisa skin. So this is the new mythic shop. And so you buy it for, like it says, 50. You get level 1, then you can get level 2, which is 10, level 3, which is 10, level 4, which is 10. And it's like this for every single skin. Some skins aren't available because they've been out, or they haven't been out. But see, I'm missing a few of these skins and a few style for the skins. So, for example, if I didn't want to get this Mercy skin this season, and let's say I instead want this Galactic Emperor, I can get Galactic Emperor Sigma. Which, you know what, I probably will do, because I like Sigma, and I like Tank a lot more than I like... Well, I probably won't, because Tank kind of sucks, but I would have considered it. And same kind of with this Tracer Mythic, like, especially over some of these skins, like, especially that one, dude. Especially over this one, I would have rather had this Tracer skin. It's like, that's nice. At the end of the day, you cannot complain about them giving you choices. However, that isn't to say that this is a perfect system. Because the first major problem that you're going to notice is now we have 3 fucking currencies, which I'm going to be honest, it's starting to get kind of crazy, because we've got 2 competitive currencies, we've got 3 normal currencies, and it's just, we're getting to a degree where it's like, okay, we're kind of getting a little bit much here, I'm not going to lie. And then obviously Overwatch League tokens, which I guess don't really exist anymore, but whatever. But the biggest problem I've been seeing is this, which is the prices. So for 10, it's $10. So to level up your mythic skin once, it's going to cost you $10 if you're not getting it from the battle pass. If you want to get a mythic skin leveled up or all the way to the first level, that's going to be $40. So it's $40. Wait, am I right about that before? Wait, oops. Because it's 50, right? Yeah. So it's $40 to get it to level 1, okay? And it's $80 to get 100, which, to be fair, gives you two extra upgrades, but that's pretty much just one full mythic skin. So it's pretty much $80 or $75 a mythic skin, which that's insane. I'll be completely honest. That's fucking absurd. It's not as bad as Heirlooms and Apex or anything, but Jesus Christ, it's pretty fucking terrible. Like, this costs more than a Valorant knife, and honestly, I would say this is worth, like, this is, okay, well, to be fair, this skin is worth more, but then, like, look at this. Is this worth 80 fucking dollars? Absolutely not. What are we talking about? There's no chance it's worth $80. Also, I don't know why, but my game just kind of looks off when I'm in this menu, so I don't know. But I don't want to go too much into the mythic, like too deep into the mythics, but that is a major problem in my opinion. $75 for a mythic is crazy. 40, I would have been like still pissed about, but I would have been okay with. 75 is insane. And I will never say that you shouldn't buy things, because it's your fucking money. I don't give a shit. But I will say, if you're buying these, you're kind of tweaking, I'm not gonna lie. But this is the good part about it. You're able to earn mythic prisms, which you can get one skin every single battle pass. So pretty much you're able to choose the mythic skin you want now, which that's really nice, because like I said, if I could have chosen between the Sigma skin and the Orisa skin, Jesus Christ, I would have chosen that Sigma skin every single time. So moving on from the mythics, then we got the challenges, which is another W change, I'm not gonna lie. Completing weekly challenges, weekly challenge milestones will now award additional Battle Pass XP. And they moved the Overwatch coins into the Battle Pass instead of the weekly challenges. This is so nice. No, not many people talk about this because most of the people playing this game are super deep in, like they're locked in. But as someone who would play this game casually sometimes, holy shit, the challenges were so ass, because you would just hop in, you're like, I just want to hop on my main, you know, I play Reinhardt, I just want to play Reinhardt. I'm just gonna hop in and play some Reinhardt. And once you hop in and you look at like how you would have to get these coins, which by the way, this was the only way to earn coins for a bit, was literally just grinding these fucking challenges. It was awful, and it made you play support all the time, or it made you do certain things that were stupid. I hated this so much. So this is super good. And then they also reduced the number of weekly challenges. Yeah, this was horrible, I'm not gonna lie. This system, way too few people were complaining about this. I think in one of my earlier videos I complained about this quite a bit. Super glad they fixed this. This is a W change all around, literally all around. So that's good. We get endorsement changes, which is players who are action for disruptive behavior and reduced to endorsement level 0 cannot use text or voice chat until they return to level 1. This is fine because honestly, this is just affecting genuine assholes, so I don't care. They have a new streamer mode, which I'm not going to go too deep into because honestly, it's pretty boring for most people. But it is nice, I guess. Hopefully it works for all the streamers. And hopefully it works. I'm going to maybe put that on so I can play Overwatch and not have to like blur out people's names without spending much time doing that. And now, this is the first thing that I'm not going to lie, you're going to hear me get a bit ranty about. So, the lever penalties. Now, I need to get my stance out of the way just immediately, okay? I am totally down for punishing levers in this game. You should not leave, I'm not gonna lie. Even in quick play, you shouldn't leave. If you have to leave, it is what it is, but you still shouldn't leave. Now, do I think you should enforce it super harshly in quick play? I wouldn't personally ever do that, but I can see why. However, shit is getting out of hand now, I'm not gonna lie. So, here is the changes pretty much. Leaving 2 out of 20 games will result in a 5-minute suspension from queuing for most modes. That's fine. 10 or more out of 20 games will result in a 48-hour suspension from queuing for most modes. Once again, this is fine. I'm alright with this. I don't like it, but it is what it is. I have pretty shit internet, so my internet goes down a lot. So I do get these penalties a lot more than I think most other people do. But it is what it is. I get it. It's my internet's fault. This is the thing that pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very pissed about this. Leaving 10 games in competitive play will now result in a season ban regardless of the amount of competitive games played. So, I know this is gonna be a hot take. There's gonna be some arguments here. If there is anyone in my comments, you're gonna be arguing about this. Because I get it. Leaving 10 games in comp, yeah, that's insane to most people. That's like, holy shit, that's crazy. How are you leaving 10 games? My internet goes down way more than 10 times in 2 months. I'll tell you that much. And if I happen to be in 10 games, I guess, or I happen to be in a game every single one of those 10 times, or, you know, whatever, then I'm gonna get a seasonal ban. And that fucking blows, because as somebody who has shit internet, yeah, I'm gonna get a comp ban, bro. Like, I just am, probably. And there's nothing I can do about it other than pray to the internet gods that my internet does not go down. And I'll be honest, I was really excited to play this game competitively, honestly, this season, because I am pretty damn good at Reinhardt. I finally had bought some time so I can stream. I was gonna play a lot of Overwatch. I'm not gonna lie, this change completely killed that for me. I'm completely done now. I don't want to do it at all. Because to be honest, if I get kicked from 10 games and I get a seasonal ban, I'm not gonna play competitive again. I just don't care. Like, I'll just be like, okay, fuck this game then, if you want to treat me like that. And I get it, to the 10 teams that I'm with, when I get DC'd, it's fucking annoying. Trust me, I get it. However, I feel like as long as I'm not like doing it on purpose, I feel like you should never be punished for your internet going down. Especially, this is just crazy, because there's so many people who live in genuine, like, third world countries and shit, man. They don't have good internet. So what the fuck? They're just gonna have to eat shit and not play comp, I guess. What? Like, that's terrible. That's actually terrible. And it's genuinely, I have always said this, but I think a major problem with esports will always be that if you are less fortunate than others, you are just in a worse spot. If you have worse ping, you just probably can't go pro in a lot of games. If you have bad internet, you simply can't play a lot of competitive games these days. It's actually crazy. I hate this so much. I have such a large problem with this. If it was leaving 10 games out of like 40 or something, that's totally fine. Or 30 even, that's totally fine. The problem is it's literally infinite. So what this means is, let's say you get DC'd like one day, and then you queue up again, you get DC'd again. That's twice in one day. And you're like, okay, I'll not queue up again. And you keep playing, you win, you're winning. And then like a month later, my internet goes down again, and it goes down 3 times in a day. Oh, now I'm at 5. It's like, okay, I guess I should stop playing, okay? I wait until my internet's fixed. My internet is fixed. And then when I'm playing again, it goes down again. I'm like, okay, I won't play until tomorrow. I play tomorrow, it goes down again. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break for like a week until it's fixed. I take a break for a week, come back, it still does it again. And then you're banned. You're literally comp banned for a season. It's actually crazy. Now, 10 games is still a lot, so I don't actually know if this is gonna hit. But with Overwatch's servers, I actually might hit this, because I'm not gonna lie, Overwatch servers sometimes, they just be kicking you out. They just be doing that sometimes. And I'm very curious if any streamers are gonna get hit by this, because they play like 700 or like, I would say anywhere from 300 to like 700 games. There is no chance they don't get DC'd from at least 10 of them. I think you 100% get DC'd from probably about 10 of them. So I'm very curious to see if some streamers start getting banned, and if they do, what Blizzard is gonna do about it. And then the players can still be banned from competitive play in as few as 5 games if they leave very consistently and don't complete enough games. That's fine. I'm fine with this. And then games completed in competitive play now count towards the 20-game window of unranked leaver penalty. Yeah, okay, so I'll be honest, I do not like this at all. I've never been a fan. I remember when they first announced the leaver penalties, I said the same thing. I was like, I'm just not a fan of this, because to be honest, it's fucking quick play, bro. Like, especially the quick play ones. The comp ones, I'm okay with the comp ones, except for the 10 games in a season. No matter how many games you play, you get permanent or comp ban that season. That's ridiculous. Competitive updates. So they made the end of season titles now include the rank or the role the rank was achieved in. So now it'll say like champion tank or open queue champion or bronze support or whatever. It'll say whatever, which that's fucking nice. Like that's really cool, because I know so many times where I've used that top 5 or it's top 500 challenger or whatever, or I think that was what it was called, right? I don't remember. It was like top 500. I used that so often, and I'd be playing like DPS because tank is just not fun. And people would be like, how are you so bad? And it's like, dog, I have 1,000,000 hours on Reinhardt and like 0 on everyone else. I literally only play tank. And then there's a bunch of just kind of quality of life things that are kind of nice. And then they also, the other big change this season is they removed grouping restrictions. I think this is a big W. I think there's some problems with the system from what I've been seeing, with some hour-long queues and stuff for the high-ranking players. But I think this, in general, needed to be in this game. The fact that you could not play a team shooter with your friends if they were like 2 ranks below you is ridiculous. That is insane, unheard of. Imagine any other game doing that. Actually crazy. But I love this because there's been people I've wanted to play with who I just wasn't able to. I guess now it doesn't matter because by now they've all quit, but I'm sure it's nice for a lot of other people. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I'm sure it's someone else who's gone very deep into it. But that's that. Then they also made it so golden weapons can be purchased with either legend or legacy competitive points or 2024 competitive points. You cannot purchase weapons with combination of both currencies. And that is dog shit. So I have 2,978, I think, competitive points, legacy competitive points. And it's just going to sit there for a year, I guess, until I can buy something with that. And it is really annoying, I'm not going to lie. Because there's literally no way for me to earn that 30. There just isn't. I gotta wait for a whole ass year. And I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it so people can't just buy every single Jade weapon. But there has to be another way. This is terrible. This is a meaningless change because I can't combine them. It doesn't fucking matter. Now here we go into the balance, okay? And this is where I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan of a lot of this. This is pretty rough. And you're gonna hear me get pretty pissed. I'm not gonna lie. So, hero updates. New hero Venture. This is the first thing, but it is probably the best thing. I'm not going to lie. Venture, they are an amazing hero, man. They're so fun. I love playing them. They're just perfect. But also, to be fair, I am probably biased because I'm so used to playing tank that literally any hero that isn't a tank is probably really fun to me. But in all seriousness, I do think Venture is like actually a really well-designed and fun character, which I will fully admit, I've made multiple videos in the past saying the Overwatch 2 characters are kind of worse than Overwatch 1 characters that they had. This is the first Overwatch 2 character that I think genuinely feels like an Overwatch 1 character. That and Ramatra. But Ramatra, I'm pretty sure they made in Overwatch 1 and Junker Queen. But I actually like Venture quite a bit. I don't have much to say about it. The only thing I will say, Venture being immediately available in competitive play, I've seen people saying this is a problem. I've seen people saying it's not a problem. Personally, I think them being in comp immediately is kind of crazy because I'm sure that there's so many people in like bronze and shit who just yell at each other like, darling, you picked the new character on the first day. How do you don't even know how to play them? Blah, 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 like that. I'm sure that's happening everywhere in every rank. And I'm also sure there's a lot of people who are very happy that because I know a lot of people who when the season comes out, they just immediately start grinding comp. And they can never play Venture for like 2 weeks. So I would say we need a middle ground where we have Venture get put in like a week or something, where it's not as long as 2 weeks, but we still need some time. Because like, what if the character just has game-breaking bugs or something? Like, I feel like we should still just give it at least a day or so. We'll see, I guess, to be fair. If Venture, I don't have like severe problems with it. I just am not... Personally, I don't think heroes should ever be in competitive play immediately, but that's just my opinion. So here we go into the tank changes. So I want to tell you what I was expecting off the top of my head. Honestly, what I was expecting was not much, and that is what we got. But what I was hoping for was some pretty big changes to tank, because pretty much everyone right now agrees that tank feels like shit. It just does. It feels bad. Like, I'm not even saying it's weak. It just feels bad. It's not fun. So I was hoping for some, not major buffs or anything. I just want the role to feel better. Like, I needed some major change to tank. And one of the other big things I was looking for is a Orisa nerf. Now, I'm sure if you are an average rank player, even hearing the word Orisa has inspired true fear into your heart. Because that character is just dog shit. Designed like shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say it. Overwatch devs, you designed a shit-ass hero there. That shit is ass. It genuinely sucks to play against. Orisa is worse to play against than Overwatch 1 Orisa, which is insane. In-fucking-sane. Double shield Orisa is better than the current one. What? I think that double shield Orisa was less fun to play, but also was less fucking annoying horrible dog shit to play against compared to this Orisa where it's absolute dog shit to play against as any tank. Not even just Reinhardt, but Reinhardt especially. Oh my god. Fucking miserable. Miserable to go up against Orisa. Oh. So, that being said, I kept my expectations low. They somehow managed to disappoint me. I don't even know how the fuck they managed, but they disappointed me with my expectations at the fucking ground. I think this patch is actually dog shit. I think this is one of the worst patches I've ever seen. And this is by far the worst seasonal patch. And I'm just going to say it with my chest, because this is what I believe. And this is coming, I'm not going to say that maybe that's not true for the high rank, maybe it's not true for the lowest ranks, but I can tell you as someone who's pretty much in the middle right now, maybe slightly up in the higher ranks, the game feels horrible. It feels so bad. Every game, especially tank. So, the first change we get is Rocket Punch. The empowered punch is no longer consumed when the windup is cancelled by using Seismic Slam or Powered Block. This is just a quality of life thing. This doesn't really matter. I'm sure it's nice to Doomfist mains, but honestly, Doomfist is already pretty fucking strong, like before this season, I would say. And I'd say now he's probably the strongest tank in the game, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe Orisa, maybe. The problem with Doom is he always just gets counter-swapped, which that's the same thing with Reinhardt. But I would say he's the best tank in the game when you're not getting counter-swapped. So it feels kind of rough to go up against a good Doomfist. But also, I'm never mad when I go up against a good Doomfist because it's just, they're good. At least they're good at the game. They're not Orisa. They're not an Orisa player. Junker Queen, Carnage going from 90 to 105. I did not expect this to be as big, but holy shit, this thing slaps now. Like, this murders. This Carnage, it goes hard. I use it more to, like, kill people now than anything else. It's actually crazy. I'll fully admit I'm not a huge Junker Queen player, but it is actually crazy to me that it does so much damage, especially when you're, like, damage boost or something. Oh my god. It's actually crazy. This is a change, though. This is the one I don't mind. Neither of these tank changes I don't really care about. Now, I'm going to skip over Reinhardt because I have a lot to say about him. I'm going to just go to Sigma, and then Reinhardt, and then Wrecking Ball. The Sigma, they buffed his movement speed of his shield from 16.5 to 20 meters a second. Once again, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like, this is just a random change. I feel like they literally, they went to a random number generator, and they were like, alright, whatever number this lands on will change whatever ability that is for Sigma somehow. And then it landed on shield, and they're like, fuck, we cannot buff a shield. People will be so pissed. Let's just increase the movement speed he throws it at. And then they just did that. It's just a random change that does pretty much nothing. Like, it is buffing a character who I would say is already really strong. Like, Sigma's always playable pretty much, which cannot be said for like 90% of the tanks. Yeah, I don't like this one. I'm not gonna lie. This is the first change on here, but I genuinely don't like because I just don't think Sigma even needed this. This is just random. Like, literally, this is just gonna come back and bite us in the ass. Like, eventually, Sigma's gonna be busted because of the power creep, and then Sigma's gonna get nerfed again, and then all the tanks are gonna feel like shit again. It's like, okay, great, we're back in the same fucking loop we've been in for like a year now. Now, that being said, we're moving on to my main. Reinhardt, very important character in just video games in general to me. I love this man. He's the reason I play Overwatch. He has been such dog shit in the middle ranks for so long, and I know that people probably don't care, but he has been horrible, because in the middle ranks, people understand how to counter swap, so they're swapping to Orisa literally every time. They're swapping to Sombra, they're swapping to Bastion. And your teammates are usually not good enough to counter swap, like, they're not good enough to know to counter swap with the tank to help them. So I just get my ass fucking beat in the mid ranks playing as Reinhardt. You literally just have to swap. I feel like I have more time swapping characters I do than I have on Reinhardt this season. It's actually bad. And last season was just as bad. Then this season, they told us we were going to get another Shatter buff. And if you watch my last video, you'll know that I pretty much said right off rip that I don't think it's going to do anything. And now, having played that for about a day now, I don't want to say for sure, but I do want to mention that I think this has literally done nothing. I think Reinhardt is in the exact same state, which is genuinely crazy because this is a big buff. I'm not gonna lie. This is a, like, numbers wise, if this was in Overwatch 1, this would make Reinhardt busted. This man would go crazy. But because it's Overwatch 2 and he suffers from so many problems just simply from Overwatch 2, this did nothing. This did pretty much nothing. First of all, the knockdown duration, you could increase this to fucking 10 seconds, and I still don't think you would get very many kills with this ult. It gets canceled by so many abilities. Every single character in the game has like 4 abilities to get out of this thing, I swear to God. It's so frustrating. And then the other change is the shockwave range increased from 20 to 25 meters, so they made it slightly longer reaching. And once again, just not that big. Is it gonna feel nice? For sure. It feels better than he did last season, but that's like barely. He barely feels any better than last season. And that is super disappointing as somebody who has been wanting... So, okay, just for reference, I got Season 8, I got top 500 on Reinhardt. Season 9, I stopped playing role queue because it was so bad that I just was having no fun. So I started playing open queue. I got top 500 on only Reinhardt in open queue. Now, Season 10 came out, and I'm playing. I cannot win in a diamond lobby, bro. It is bad. It is actually bad. And I know the rank reset probably made that a little bit harder as well, the lobbies. But no, you literally just cannot play Reinhardt, especially if you want to win. If you want to win, you can't. You just can't. You have to know. And you especially can't be a Ryan one-trick. You better know at least like 3 other characters. And that's the thing that's pissing me off. Because a lot of these other characters, you can still mostly be a one-trick. Reinhardt is physically fucking impossible. If you try to one-trick Reinhardt to the highest rank, I guarantee you can't get it just playing Reinhardt. Now, can you get it playing mostly Reinhardt? Yes. And if... Obviously, there are exceptions like Cloudy. Cloudy could probably get all the way to fucking rank 1 probably with Reinhardt just... Even with him playing dog shit. But that's because he's just literally him. Like, he is the best. It should still feel good for 90% of the other players, which it doesn't right now. I don't want to go too long into Reinhardt, so that's what I'll say with that. It's a useless change, but doesn't change fucking anything. You need to change your Risa if you want Reinhardt to be better. You have to change your Risa. She is so horrible against Reinhardt. I'm gonna make a full video explaining why it's so bad, because it seems like people are struggling, like the Blizzard devs clearly don't fucking understand, and it's crazy to me that they don't understand, because that is literally Reinhardt's #1 problem, as well as Doomfist's #1 problem, gatekeeping him with Orisa. It's so fucking annoying. It's dog shit. They need to nerf Orisa. They have to. I understand they won't because her win rate is bad and stuff, but that shouldn't fucking matter. She's annoying. I don't care. Wrecking Ball got a bunch of changes. So you can now like pull in with your grappling hook, which that's fine. There's a cooldown that it won't reach if you don't reach ramming speed. And then the maximum duration timer no longer triggers unless he reaches ramming speed. All of that, I'm fine with. That's just like quality of life stuff. That's fine. Adaptive shield. This is where I start to have some pretty big problems with both of these. So, adaptive shield can now be reactivated to redistribute up to 300 overhealth to nearby allies, capping at 75 per person. And the enemy and ally detection radius was increased from 10 to 13 meters. I hate abilities like this. So, Junker Queen's Shout was the one that I'm like, okay, this is fine. If we have one tank who does something like this is fine. But I hate when characters have bonus health. I would rather shoot at a fucking shield than a Tracer with 325 health or whatever ridiculous shit you can get up to now. Personally, at least. I know some people are gonna disagree with that, but I'd rather shoot the fucking shield, because at least I could shoot the shield and it'll break really fast in this game. The fucking health pools, that shit does not go down fast. People heal and shit, it's bad. But I hate changes like this because they're just brain dead. Like, this is just, you don't need to do anything really to do this. You just have to first dive into the enemy team like you always did as Wrecking Ball, and then you just go back to your team, you press it again, and then, oh, everyone's got 75 extra health. Fucking cool. I hate it so much. It's just bad change. It's just a bad change. It's just a low skill change. It's just gonna make Wrecking... And the other thing, that literally no Wrecking Ball ever is gonna use that. Ever. Because nobody plays ball like that. Literally nobody. It's actually crazy. I know I'm mostly exaggerating because people will obviously use it occasionally. But, like, I swear you're not going to see that nearly as often because ball players are kind of just crazy, which is fine. And then we get Minefield. I hate this as well. Minefield health increased from 50 to 60. Now, I don't think I've actually gone and done the testing yet, but according to the Reinhardt main subreddit and Doomfist main subreddit, I don't think you can punch or like normal punch or charge through his minefield anymore. Which I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking dog shit. There's no reason to do that. Like, Reinhardt already struggles, bro. I don't need another thing to fucking think about now. Because I would do that a lot. You would charge through the minefield to just break a bunch of them all in one go. Without damaging yourself too much. And it's really big. It was a nice strat. And obviously your shield can do it still. And it's not like it's impossible to deal with still. It just makes the matchups that Ball was supposed to kind of have problems with less hard to go into, which is becoming a common theme, and I think it's gonna be the death of the tank role, because if every fucking tank just negates everything, no one is gonna want to play tank or go up against tanks if they just feel like shit. Now moving on, damage. Sombra got a small nerf. Don't mind. Sombra was kind of strong. I like her though, so I always hate seeing her to get nerfed, but she was strong, so I'll just even it out at medium. Tracer getting a nerf, I always hate to see this, but also she needed it, so I'm willing to let it slide. Venture changes, I don't mind these because they kind of fit more in character, honestly. I thought her being a burst character kind of was silly, because it's like, when you think of a drill, you think of like, it goes for a while, like automatic mining, so you can just hold it and it will keep going. But for some reason, Venture was like super bursty, so I think it fits her character, or their character better. However, I don't like the gameplay feeling anymore, which I like her or them still. I just don't. Yeah, I like them still. I just don't like them as much as I did when they were a super bursty hero, which I guess could be that they were just overpowered. So honestly, with the damage stuff, there just wasn't much here, like at all, really. There's 3 nerfs, and to be fair, 2 of the characters that were really frustrating to go against is Reinhardt, which are these 2. But that's not gonna help. That's not fixing anything. Now, moving on to support, we get the Alari nerf, which we already knew about, which the primary fire recovery was increased from 2.2 to 0.25 seconds, and the secondary fire rate heal per second was increased from 105 to 115. I don't like healing. I'm getting tired of healing, and I'm especially getting tired of, like, Reinhardt now. I have to hit 2 fucking fire strikes and a fucking, like, hit of my hammer to kill somebody. And then there's characters like Alari who can heal my entire damage from all of those abilities in 1 second. It's fucking crazy. Actually crazy. The healing creep is getting to a point where it's actually insane. And I know I'm gonna get shit, like, people are gonna be mad at that for me saying that support's strong, but this shit is, like, I feel like even supports don't want this much healing because it's just making the game insufferable. And this is another fucking insane change. I don't know what the fuck this was. This is another dartboard change is what I call them when they're just random. Lucio, they nerfed his damage from 20 to 18 per projectile, which that's not going to feel good. And then they buffed his sound wave damage from 35 to 45. So they made his boop do more damage, but his overall damage is lessened. And I just don't like that. It's just changing shit that doesn't really need to be changed, in my opinion. Like, Lucio has felt fine. I don't think I've been mad that Lucio is meta or anything. So I think this is just a silly random change. Lifeweaver, I hate this so much. This is the least favorite one out of all of them, and I kind of was, I did mention I was worried about it when I was recording my last video, but this is even worse than I could have imagined. So they buffed his rejuvenating dash from 50 to 60 health when you use it. That I'm not that mad about. I will say it's still dumb that he's getting healing buffs, because I feel like we need literally anything but healing buffs. Please stop buffing fucking healing, Blizzard. It's been like a year straight. All you do is buff healing over and over, because apparently the support players like to complain. And this is coming from somebody who's been playing mostly support this entire, like, last season. I was playing mostly support and DPS. So I even as a support main, I don't like this. I would well, not a support main, but as a support player, I don't like this. I would rather have supports doing less healing, but also doing damage. That being said, there's also the other end of the stick, which is Moira, where she does too much damage and is too strong. But they nerfed her damage from 65 to 60 from her Biotic Grasp, and her Coalescence self-heal per second was increased from 50 to 55. I'm not a huge fan of this because it just makes her even harder to kill in Coalescence, which, to be fair, if you just stunned her out of it, that was like enough usually. But this is just gonna make it even harder to kill her during it, which is kind of unfortunate. And I don't really care about any of these super big bug changes. I will say one thing though, that is that Genji is completely broke. Well, I don't know if he still is, but he was broken where he couldn't wall climb after double jumping. So that man was unplayable. They nerfed him. We got to nerf Genji again. Yeah, and that looks like all the patch notes at least. And I'll be honest, guys, I do not like this patch at all. So there's, in my opinion, what I said to my brother is I like the big changes. Like, I like the new map, I like Clash, I like the Mythic Prism stuff somewhat. I like the endorsement changes, I like the streamer mode, I like the challenges, I like the progression changes. I'm not a huge fan of the lever penalties. I'm a fan of the competitive updates mostly. Like, I'm a fan of pretty much everything except for the balance. The balance, oh my god, the balance is bad. And that's about it. Later.